Welcome to next JavaScript question. In this question we will be using three new concepts in JavaScript. So let's go through them first and then we will come back to the question again. So in JavaScript gives us a few syntax or few operators basically which will help you to write clean code. So one of them is prefix operators. Let's discuss the prefix decrement operator. Here you have to write minus in front of your variable if before assigning it to something. So what it will do, it will just decrement the value of your variable and then assign it to the new variable. Same goes with plus. If it's plus, it will increase the value and then assign it. So in this particular case, what it will do, it will just decrement the value of x by 1. This is -1. This is something similar to writing something like x equals to x minus 1 and then assign it to y. So this is why we are getting x equals to 2 and y equals to 2 in the console. Let's go to objects now. Let's give a quick walkthrough around objects. So in JavaScript everything is mostly around objects, right? So you can define an object by declaring a variable and then using curly braces around it and defining whatever you want in this object itself. So here for example you will be having a variable num and its value is 1, str and its value is hello world, obj and it's another object. You can define an object inside an object and that can go as long as you want. So here we have an object which is an obj which is again an object which contains a value x and its value is 5. The object in JavaScript can also contain functions which we will be using in our code. So this is how you can declare a function, and this is totally a valid syntax. Arrow functions is called arrow function. I'll explain it later as well. Okay, and how would you access an object? So this is how you can just access its value. Object.obj, like if you see object.obj, we reached till here, and then after that if you want the value of x, this will be .x, so this should return you 5. What if you do .y, which is not even there? It should return you undefined. So this is how it works. We can also extract the values in const in variables by using the syntax in front of object. So here we have this object, right, and we want to extract the value of num and assign it to a variable. So what it will do, it will just extract the values from this object num and string, and then if you console it, it should be something like num is 1 and str is hello world. So this is how it works. Also you can just while extracting you can redefine their names as well. So like pop, if you want to do that, now your pop should be having the value of 1, which is num is not not valid anymore. If you do num, it should be giving you error because num is not there in the reference. Cool, let's go back to the question now. The question is asking us to write a function create counter. It should accept an integer initial integer int, which is here. It should return an object with 3 functions. The function should be increment to increase the value of counter by 1 and then returns it, decrement, and same as reset. Okay, let's go back to the question now. So here we have init, right? So what we will do initially, so this is again revolving around the concept of closures, which I have explained in my previous video. You can go back and check it. I will put the link in description. Yeah, so what it will do, it will take a variable init and then we have to perform some operations on this init. But it's a good practice to assign that variable, whatever we are getting, to a new variable so that we do not directly modify this init and it can be reused for any other purposes. Okay, so we have to return 3 functions. So earlier, as I mentioned, we have to return an object. And in JavaScript you can just return functions and objects as well, right? So we will define 3 function. Increment function, which is just plus and counter. So what it will do, it will increase the value of init, counter, because init is not there anymore. We have defined a new variable and then assign it to the function. So whenever you're calling this function, it will increase the value and then return it. So this is how it's working. So if you want to me to detail this, it should be something like give me a second. So this is how it will look to you, but in the shorter notation we can simply just write whatever we have written earlier, right? That's a small syntax. So if you're not using curly braces, in JavaScript it's a default return. So if you just do this counter, this simply means you are doing your operation and then returning the value, right? You don't have to explicitly write return if you are not using curly braces. So this is what we are doing. We are using this increment function, and we'll be assigning this increment function to a key called increment as asked by our question, right? So this is same goes with decrement function and same goes with reset function. In reset function, we are using init to reset the counter. This is why we didn't directly modify init, so that now we can use it. We still have the same value whatever it was having earlier. Yeah, this is how it works. Also, now since we have good knowledge around functions and assigning them to variable, JavaScript also provides us functionality to directly define functions inside object references. So you don't have to declare it as a variable. You can just directly use arrow functions in front of this syntax and just use your function and write it anything. So this can also work in the same way. So even if you want to do this here, this is totally valid. Like whatever you are doing here, this is also totally equally valid. You can define a big function here, but it's a good practice to just define the variable name and use your function here. So let's just go back and write our code. So yeah, this is your solution. You can just do this and try running your code. Submit it. Yes, here we go. So this was our solution. If you have any doubts, please comment it below and subscribe for more. I will be explaining a lot of JavaScript concepts in upcoming days. Thank you.